Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at my custom Star-Lord. I'm actually putting this guy up for sale right after this video, so if you're interested, leave a comment and let me know. So right off the bat here, you can see that I have all of these extra hands. These are from the NW Toys body, which he is on, so all these hands are compatible with this figure. I did have the Mezco Commander Rogers hands on the figure, but I'm using those for my Captain America, so they kind of split time between this figure and that one. Starting off with the head sculpt, I repainted the Marvel Legends Volume 2. If you're gonna try to replicate this custom, it doesn't really matter which of the Volume 2, they're all the same. You could even try it with the Volume 1, but I prefer this head sculpt because it's just a little more refined. All those details are there. And taking a closer look, I added silver lines underneath the eyes and made sure that the gold kind of wrapped all the way up around the eyes. And to achieve this look, I first started off with a gloss black, and I don't have an airbrush, so I just used regular brushes, and then I dry brushed a mixture of gloss black and silver for a shiny gunmetal look. And I'm super happy with how this paint job came out. I really wanted it to look metallic, and I think that I have achieved that. And for the hair, I painted it kind of a brassy goldish color and then added in some brown wash. And then I added a matte coat on top of that. For the skin tone, I just used the sideshow method, which is to mix red, yellow, and blue, a little bit of white, and then do some red, yellow, and blue washes very, very subtly. After that, trying to replicate the skin tone of this neck. This neck is the Man Nipple Punisher neck. You can buy it on 1/6 kit for like $14. And it happened to have a ball peg that works perfectly for this Marvel Legends head. And I'm gonna turn off the LEDs just for the rest of this detail look here, just so I don't wear out the battery because it's kind of a hassle to change out. Anyway, so this shoulder pauldron here is from the Marvel Legends Volume 2 long trench coat version. This is from the Love and Thunder, as well as this. Now the backpack is a Soldier Story backpack. I got it on AliExpress, and I kind of merged it with this leather strap that I got from like a Punisher holster type thing from AliExpress. And then I just painted this kind of a brassy gold with some Vallejo acrylics. The coat is from GPS Lot. I believe it's out of stock now, and this one is heavily modified, so it looks a little different than what you'd see in the listing. I have all of these details that I've added from various Marvel Legends figures, and I've modified a lot of the detailing toward the bottom, like these straps here and all of the kind of separate flaps that he has going on. There is a wire that's running down the coat, and initially, if you were to buy this coat, there's 2 layers to kind of the inner part of the jacket here, and I went in with an X-Acto knife and took out all the stitching so that it would be a little bit less bulky, and then I re-glued it down so that the wire could still fit inside there and be posable. This particular piece is also from the Marvel Legends Volume 2 long trench coat version, where I got this shoulder pauldron from. This is another piece from that. I can't remember exactly which part. The pants are from eBay. I've used these pants quite a bit for Mandalorian customs and some other Star-Lord customs that I've done in the past. I really like them because they have all of these kind of details that make them look a little bit more like what you might buy in a space mall rather than something that you would wear on Earth. So the boots are from the Love and Thunder, and I repainted the buckles and added a wash just to add a little bit more detail. And I'll talk about these in a second when I talk about the Walkman as well, because I got them from the same place. And now for the belt, this is a 1/6 scale brown belt that I cut into this pattern and added all these little details. These are parts of a paper clip that I glued behind, and there's also a little magnet. You can barely see it back there. That's for the Walkman. There are also magnets glued onto the little flaps on his holsters so that his guns can magnetically attach. The shirt is also from GPS Lot, and unfortunately I believe this shirt is also out of stock. So the jacket and the shirt are now out of stock. Now to talk about the jet boosters and the Walkman, both of these things were 3D printed by Patrick Cho 1986 on Instagram and painted by me. A warning, if you are going to try to order from Patrick, these headphones are extremely brittle. This headphone part has broken off many times and I've had to re-glue it many times. So just be super careful with that. And let's see, I did modify them slightly because the file that he has isn't quite accurate to the movie. The wire is supposed to go in on just one side of the headphones. So I drilled a tiny, tiny little hole and put the wire in there. This wire also came with that purchase. There's little jacks on both sides of the headphones and I cut those off. But I mean, the detail on these is really, really cool. If we punch in really close, you can see it says Sony, and there's a lot of little, like, I don't know, grading on there. Same with the other side. And the Walkman is equally as detailed. It says Sony, Walkman. You can even read it, that's crazy. There's a little arrow and the cassette tape in there. I did my best with a tiny, tiny little brush to try to write Awesome Mix Volume 1. Obviously this is extremely tiny, so if you're punching really close, it just says gibberish on there. And I used a Dremel to kind of bore out a little hole for this magnet. I think it's 4, it could be 5, yeah. Anyway, got those magnets from Amazon and I got a variety pack of different sizes. And they were very useful for this project in particular because I used them on a lot of different things. The guns, these are 3mm, and there are several magnets just stacked on top of each other. There's also a 3mm magnet back here for the Walkman, and the Walkman just attaches like so. Both of these magnets are 3mm as well, and then there's one behind here so that you can remove the backpack if need be, if you need to change the battery. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there about magnets, but I was going to talk about these. These are also from Patrick Cho 1986, and the sculpt is accurate to the movie as far as I can tell. They look just like the Hot Toys sculpt, and I tried to paint them to look just like the Hot Toys. It was really fun to paint, especially this little heat effect here on the blaster parts. That was very fun to achieve that effect there, just with some metallic blue and some kind of metallic-ish purple red. I also just kind of bored out a little section of the boots so that these could glue in there and stay secure. I don't think these are going to come off very easily. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm going to talk about the LEDs. So I fit a 3-volt button cell battery holder along with the switch that comes with it into this backpack. All of that came from Evan Designs. You can get just kind of a stock version of that. You can also get it with a plug. So for the sake of this video, I guess I'll go through the trouble of showing you how this is all connected, but I probably won't take everything apart because that would just be quite a hassle. So there's a little button in here. When you press it, the LEDs come on. And the battery is in here and the wires run up under the coat, and then there's a little plug here. I'll show you what it looks like actually. So there's just kind of a plug here. You can unplug it and completely remove the head. So if you wanted to do an unmasked sculpt, this is not permanently attached to the body. You can also pull off the backpack and the wire will pull through. So this is all optional and removable, and I try to make it that way so that If you want to go for different looks, you can do that. And if anything breaks, it's all modular and replaceable. And then you can just kind of finagle this back down into his shirt. And if you've got the plug the right way, it should turn on. There you go. Now the LEDs themselves are 3mm flat top LEDs. I'll just grab a couple of them so you know what they look like. So I got these from eBay, and I think they came from the Netherlands, but I used a pen drill to hollow out the eye spaces. That's kind of simplifying a little bit because there was some other stuff underneath that I had to Dremel so that these could fit, because they're not just cylinders, they've got this kind of flared out part at the bottom that makes things a little complicated. But long story short, just drill out the eye holes, fit these in here, and then I set them up so that the wires were facing each other kind of in a square right here, and then wrapped the wires from the battery holder around them. I didn't use any soldering or anything that your average Joe couldn't do, so this is totally doable if you want to replicate it. And you might think that they don't look that bright, but under this natural lighting, there's a window here, and this lamp I've got on, they look a little bit dimmer, but they are definitely bright enough that in a dark room they look pretty bright, but they're not overpoweringly bright, because Star-Lord's eyes on his mask, they never look like white bright. They typically look red. So with the lights on, that's how it looks in the movie, and I'm happy with how that looks. You can get a brighter variety of LEDs. I do have some, but I chose to go with these dimmer ones because I think the other ones were a little bit overpowering. They kind of even hurt to look at. But these just look really, really nice in person. All right, going over articulation, he is on the NW Toys body, which has really, really nice articulation. However, he is going to be limited by the cloth clothes. His arms can go up to the side all the way. They can move up over his head. Good amount, as much as you'd probably need. He's got double bend at the elbow, and the jacket kind of hinders that just slightly, but not too much. The wrists are on a hinge and they can swivel. For head articulation, the base of the neck's on a ball joint, and then there's a ball joint going up into the head, but that one doesn't move too much, and you wouldn't want to move it because it's kind of next to all the wiring. So this is the head movement you can get from it, and you can also turn side to side. Again, just be careful because the wiring is not soldered, it's all just kind of wrapped around it, and if you go too crazy with it, it could break. And then for the torso, this is his ab crunch. Really, really awesome on that NW Toys body. And he can also move all the way around like that. So again, especially the ab crunch, the NW Toys body is really incredible in terms of articulation. The legs can move all the way out, and they can also bend at the knee. And then down here at the ankles, you can move them forward and back. You want to be careful because though these are glued on and they're pretty secure, they're not really coming off. If you were to bend the feet out this way at the ankle, then that could be just enough leverage to pop those off. If they do pop off, they're pretty easy to glue back on, but it's just kind of nicer if you don't have to do that. And then, like I said, there's also wires. There's a wire going all the way down both sides of the front of the jacket, and the wire is pretty strong. Even with this kind of rubbery plastic piece from the Marvel Legends, you can kind of get it into some different poses. And then there's also some wires in these two sections here. This Star-Lord's kind of on the bigger side when it comes to 6-inch scale figures. He stands at about 6.5 inches tall. And for comparison, I'll show him with the SHF. So these two figures are obviously in different scales. Even though they're both 1/12, This guy's pushing the upper limits of that, and the SHF Star-Lord has always been kind of a smaller figure. He's even under 6 inches tall, I believe. Yeah, he's just a smidgen under 6. So yeah, this would be more compatible with the Mezco or Marvel Legends collection, while SHF tries to stay closer to true 1/12 scale. So in total, I believe that this figure cost me a little bit over $300 to put together, so a little bit on the pricey side for a custom figure. However, I think what I have achieved here is very satisfying. I'm very happy with all the little details. However, I am going to be selling this guy because no matter how happy I am with a custom figure, there's always some little things that I feel like I could improve on. So I think it'll be fun to do a version 2 of this guy. But for now, this is my perfect 1/12 custom Star-Lord. Hope you enjoyed. If you're interested in this figure, leave a comment. Check out my Instagram. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, share links, and yeah, I'll catch you in my next video and have a great day.